don't know about you guys, but I've been to camp for, this coming summer will be my 13th summer there. So I was a camper for 7 years, and I was that crazy camper. I was literally the brochure of Camp Kalakwa for like 3 years, and this year I was informed that I'm on the staff flyer this year, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm never getting rid of it. Like my picture's on the cafeteria wall from when I was 8, my first summer there. So we gotta get a little prepared. So I don't know about you guys. I'm pretty basic when it comes to camp, so I gotta get my chacos out if I can find them. So like you always gotta have your shoes ready because they go everywhere with you. Oops, I'm messing up my other shoes. I don't even know why they create chacos with 3 straps because they're most confusing. But I'm going to try to put these on. They're probably not going to stay on very well, so bear with me. So camp, you got to get your feet ready, right? You got to get ready for those long days. You're in the heat. I don't know about you guys, but I'm always trying to be in the water. I was a lifeguard. Well, I am a lifeguard still. But I was a lifeguard my first 2 summers working there, so I was always in the water. Every chance I got, I would jump in. So what else do we have here? All right, so you got to get your T-shirt out, right? Your staff shirt. This was our staff shirt from last summer. Got to put this on, right? So you got to get ready for those campers to come Sunday morning. Great things happen around a campfire. You got to have your s'mores, right? Okay. Sorry, this isn't all color coordinated. Got to get your hat on. Get that cap ready to face those kids, because that sunshine is bright. I'm sorry, I left my sunglasses in my car. But what else you got to have? Okay, this is a SWAU lanyard because my camp lanyard with my whistle and everything, I don't even know where that is, but I pray that I find it before this summer. But got to get your lanyard on, your ID. I don't know about what camps you guys go to, but we always have to have the ID now with your picture on it. And I always make the funny pictures. I don't know what else you got to have. I apparently have my wallet in this bag, so I don't think I really need that at camp because they're paying me. I'm not paying them. You got to have a notebook. I don't know why I have this notebook, but it's okay. So I'm going to put that back down. Anyways, with my disheveled shoes. So you got to be prepared, right? And so I think of the first place I found Christ, and that happened to be at camp. Yay! So I remember my first summer we went there because, the reason we started going to camp was because my mom's the camp nurse. And so my first summer there, we were there for 2 weeks, and that was Cub and Junior. So since I was 8, I could only be a Cub. So we were there for Cub, and I loved it. I was like, yeah! And my sister was she was hyped, but she wasn't as hyped as me. But so the next year, we stayed the whole summer, and I was legitimately a camper every week I could be. I did Cubs, and then I did Juniors. And we had that thing that year called Friendship Camp, which was all the ages. It was kind of strange. And then I still did it. I did soccer camp, horsemanship camp, junior camp the next year, doing everything to do all the camps. And then my camp actually switched to a track system, so we have all the ages at the same time now. We've been doing that since 2010. So then I was a junior camper all 3 weeks for a couple years, and then a teen camper all 3 weeks, and then I did staff and training, which we don't have anymore. But yeah, it's kind of sad. It was that's where I got certified to be a lifeguard. But I remember summer of 2008. That was our second summer there, and that was the first time I remember giving my heart to Christ. And I was like, wow, what a blessing! This is great. And then 2009, I proceeded to get baptized, and I've actually gotten baptized at camp twice. I got baptized in 2009 and 2015. I got rebaptized there a couple summers ago. Anyways, so like I said, camp's my home. I don't care where my parents move to. Camp Kalakwa in Florida will always be my home. So my 3rd year working there, it was my first year being a counselor. And if any of you have ever been a counselor or dealt with kids of any kind, you can know how tried your life can get. People these kids know how to push all the buttons. They know how to do the little things that just make you want to strangle them sometimes, but you can't because of rules and laws, and you don't want to get sued. But so I get my first cabin ever, and I was super excited. I was the Love Bug cabin. I don't know why that was a cabin name, but I was the Love Bugs, and I was like, okay, all right. And so my kids start calling me Mama Love Bug, and so I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever been at camp or anything. Like, there's sometimes just that one kid that's a little bit off. They're a little bit strange. They're a little bit wild. And they really just want to mess up the whole cabin. Well, my first week being there, I had 6 of those kids. And so they were all like uniquely different in their own way and all a little bit weird, and no one ever even fit in, and I didn't even think they fit in with my cabin. I was like, Lord, help my heart. I'm like, because I don't know how I'm going to deal with these kids. I don't know what's going to happen. And like, I don't know about you guys, but we always grew up with cabin rules. And so that year before, like during staff week, I was like, I made my rules all pretty. Like they all look so nice hand lettering. Everything was perfect. I was like, yes, I'm going to be the best counselor ever. Yeah, no. And so obviously, there was definitely mistakes made. And honestly, I ended up tearing up my rules and throwing them out the window because I was like, what is life? And my girls director came up to me and she was like, I'm sorry. You have the worst cabin I've ever seen. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, you're just going to have to deal with them. I was like, oh. I'm like, Lord, I need your help. And so I remember one night I was actually reading my Bible, and I was reading Philippians chapter 2, which is where we're going to go today. And the verses that really struck me were like chapter 2, verses 14 and 15, which says, do all things without grumbling or complaining, that you may be blameless and pure, children of God, without blemish in the midst of this crooked and twisted generation, among whom you shine as bright as stars in the sky. So I read that, and I was like, Lord, are you asking me to change my perspective? I was like, Lord, I don't want to deal with these girls. It's only Monday night. I have 5 more nights with them. My day off's not till Thursday. Like, I don't know if I can make this. And I just felt like God tapping on the window of my heart saying, Kayla, you've got this. And so I was like, okay. And then I just kept reading in the chapter, and I just felt like God saying, Kayla, you have 6 girls. And I was like, yes, God, I have 6 girls. And he was like, and Kayla, these girls are going to drive you insane. I was like, okay, thanks, God. Thanks for letting me know that. And he was like, but Kayla, I placed those 6 girls in your cabin so you have the opportunity to show them who I am. And I was just like, what? I was like, you could have chosen someone else. And like, I just felt like God saying like, no, I chose you because you have the opportunity to make this impact on their life for eternity. And I was just like, oh, okay. So the next day comes, and I had the director of camp come up and say, Kayla, I'm hearing you're having some problems with your cabin. I am so sorry. And he was like, but you're going to make it. And I was like, thanks, Ray. Thanks. I got this. No, but I don't got this because God's got this. And so every day after that, I was like, okay, God, what do I need to do? And I remember one night, I was to the point of tears, and I was like, God, my rules aren't working because like just telling them to do something isn't going through their heads. Because legitimately, I had one camper who liked to stomp on like all the guys' counselors' feet for some reason. So like she would go up and like see like, hi, Mr. Adams, stomp on his feet. Hi, Mr. Brandon, stomp on his foot. Like that's all she did, and she would just go and like stomp on all the guys' counselors' feet. And she had like some of the prettiest eyes anyone has ever seen. And so anyone else tried to discipline her, they'd be like, I can't discipline her. Her eyes are too pretty. I'm like, what? And I sat that child down. I was like, child, you listen to me because this is not what's going to go down. And she'd give you like those puppy dog eyes. She was 7 years old. And I was like, no, you do not have me wrapped around your little finger. Go to timeout. We had to like take off water park minutes anyways because we couldn't really discipline much than that. So sorry, I'm getting away with myself. Anyways, so I remember one night, and I also had a camper who just did everything opposite of what you said. And so I remember one day specifically with that cabin, I sat down in the middle of the road. We were walking to the zoo, and I just sit down. Because, like, all my campers were like, I don't want to move. I don't want to walk. My legs are broken. And, it starts a chain reaction. And so they're all like, oh, my legs are broken. So I just sit down. And, like, they're all just like, what? Why aren't we going to the zoo? And I'm like, because you said you're broken. I guess if you guys are broken, I'm broken too. And then, like, I was like, I guess we just have to go have nap time. And, like, I guess we're not going to go to the zoo. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that because we're broken, right? We got to all go to the nurse. If I had taken my cabin to the nurse, my mom would have killed me. But they were just like, okay, fine. And so they started to change their attitudes. They're like, no, we're good, Miss Kayla, we're good. Let's do this, Mama Love Book. Let's go. And so then finally, like, they got sort of hyped to go, and I was like, okay. And so I remember one night I was sitting and I was praying, and I was like, Lord, I do not know what to do. And so I started writing, because I'm not a great writer, but I just started writing a couple things, and so I was like, I came up with this idea to have the Love Bug Pledge. And so I made my campers say this every single morning for the rest of the time I was counseling. And so they would all stand up in front of the wall where I had the pledge posted and raise up their right hand, and they would say, as a love bug, I pledge to respect God, others, and myself, to be kind, confident, and true, to be brave and strong when facing a situation, to smile and be happy when things don't go my way, and to have fun. And above all, to love like Jesus loves and follow in all his ways. And so I was like, dang, the Lord gave that to me, because I definitely did not know how to write that. And so that became our Love Bug Pledge. And I remember we had flag raising one morning, and they did not want to do anything, so I made them say the pledge, because I was like, if you're going to have attitude, we're going to do it my way. But what really struck me was every time I had them read that, I was applying it to my own life. Because to smile and be happy when things don't go my way, because I don't know about you guys, but I am not always smiling when things are not going my way, because I get frustrated, and, I just want it to go my way for once. I just want it to be me for once, because so many times we focus on everyone else that why can't it just be me, But to smile and be happy when things don't go my way, and to have fun on top of that, And, it really struck me, because, honestly, I might have been manipulative, because every time they did something bad after that, I'd be like, were you respecting God, others, and yourself? No. Okay, 2 minutes off the water park. But, so it was easier to incorporate all the rules that I wanted into this one pledge, because I was like, oh, it's so nice, and it actually made it a lot easier, because instead of just saying, hey, so-and-so, you broke a rule, it was more like, hey, you went against your pledge. You went against what you said you were going to do today. So you said you were going to have fun. You said you were going to smile. You said you were going to do these things, but you didn't. And I'm not saying that you're in the biggest trouble ever, but I'm saying that you're going against what you said. And I'm saying that you're going against the reason. And the reason why we have this pledge is to have the best week ever. It's to have the best time at camp, so you can go home knowing that you got your parents' money's worth. You can go home knowing that you had the greatest time ever. Because it's not all about just going to camp, doing the activities, making crafts, having fun, getting sunburnt, because I'm literally, by the end of camp, I'm always the same color as my lifeguard swimsuit. I am red, but because I'm really white, but that's just what happens when you don't wear enough sunscreen. But Philippians 2 I don't know, this chapter literally slapped me in the face the first time I read it. I didn't even know, I know, we always focus on Philippians 4, because, that is a beautiful chapter, and it has so much power in it. But growing up, I never really focused on Philippians 2 and the truth it has to say. So I'm just going to kind of breeze through the verses a little bit. So verse 3 says, do nothing from rivalry or conceit. It also says, humbly count others more than yourself. So that's putting others in front of who you are. Verse 5 goes into saying, have the mind of Christ Jesus. That's crazy, because Christ put everyone else before himself, so I'm supposed to do that as well. And then it says in verse 6 that Christ made himself nothing by taking the form of a servant. And I don't know about you, but that was a slap in my face when I read that. I am supposed to serve in all that I say and do. And I don't always do that, Verse 8 says that he went to the point of death, even death on a cross. I can't imagine how excruciating that must have been, to die for something that you didn't do, but for all those you love did, And then, of course, verse 14 and 15, do all things without grumbling, complaining, questioning, so you can shine as bright as stars in the sky. Verse 18 mentions rejoicing. Verse 21 says, stop seeking your own interest, rather seek the will and interests of Christ. So what does Christ have for you to do? What is his interests, and what steps do you need to be taking in order to achieve those? If there's one point that I can really, truly leave with you guys today, like if you don't walk away with anything but this, is to be intentionally prepared. And I thought it was amazing that Marcel came up and described the definition of intentional, because I was like, dang, that's going right with what I'm talking about, you know? So praise God, because I didn't even talk to Marcel about that. But we have situations that arise that we cannot control. But how are we going to respond to those situations? So as you saw, I brought up a bunch of stuff. So you got to, I don't know, I always carry around my backpack at camp. You know, and I have a pretty nice Tom's one. Tom's are not as in style as they were when I was in high school. I swear that was the only shoes I ever wore. But now I wear my Chacos, you know. So you got to have like your cool keychain. I have a fluffy llama head here. I know this is really random, but it just makes me really happy because it's a fluffy llama head. Okay, sorry, I get off track easily. So you gotta open your backpack, get the llama head to move with you, you know. So being intentionally prepared means you have the right stuff in your backpack. So I, of course, folded these so I can't unfold them because I'm Kayla. But if you're not willing to cooperate, is that being prepared? Because cooperation is required to work as a team, right? So I don't know if that's being prepared. Is having a bad attitude being prepared? Because I know I go through so many days just being so sour and so not ready to face the day. And I can be as grumpy as can be. My friends all call me a grandma for more ways than one because they're like, you sometimes are really grumpy. And I'm like, fine. And then they're always like, you go to bed at 9. And I'm like, yeah, I do because I'm a grandma. So I'll accept my grandma-ness if that means I can go to bed early. What else do we have in here? Bitterness. I don't know about you guys, but I face situations every day that I could be bitter about. You know, I could be bitter about not getting to class on time. I could be bitter about my teacher counting me tardy or giving me an absence just because I was 5 minutes late. I can be bitter about that, or I can have those situations make me better. What else do we have in here? Rudeness. I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't the best child. I still am not sometimes. I am sometimes rude as can be to my parents. And I know they're going to watch this later, so I love you, Mom and Dad. But I know I had some campers who were flat out rude to me. And I remember I was a camper for a long time. I had some counselors I did not like, and I made them know I did not like them. I'm such a terrible person sometimes. Snarkiness. How many times do we find ourselves being snarky? I don't know about you guys, but I definitely was kind of snarky sometimes in high school. Yeah, still sometimes am. What else do we have in here? Meanness. I don't know about you guys, but like I don't know if you've ever been bullied or been the bully, but it is not fun to be on either side of them, because you're receiving some type of meanness one way or the other, and that's just not fun. So with these things, if you come intentionally prepared with these things are what you're going to give to others. Because if this is all that you're putting in your backpack, this is all that's going to come out of your backpack. You know, so as you walk through your path of life each and every day, if this is all that you're putting in, then how are you going to be prepared to be the hands and feet of Christ? Or, let's look in the rest of the backpack. So I have an adventure band. You could be ready for adventure. You can be ready for the different things that come your way. If you have a journal, I have an avocado journal. It makes me really happy too. Anyways, sorry, I get distracted easily. But you can have things to write down your memories, to write down your moments, to write down the times that someone impacts your life and causes you to be a better person, you know? Sorry, guys, I have a lot of stuff. It's all, I don't know about you, but people can get dehydrated easily, so it's always good to have a water bottle. This is a water bottle that I've actually never used, but I've had for like 3 years now, because for my 18th birthday, a friend gave it to me, and it has these little scrolls of paper in it, and they all have different verses about water in them. So he was like, I put water in your water bottle. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. So I have that. So, you know, you gotta have your water bottle to be ready. Your sunscreen, in case you get really sunburnt like me, because sometimes there's blistering moments in your life where people are bitter, and it makes you want to just bubble up and just get all sour and mad and just frustrated. But if you put your sunscreen on, you can be somewhat protected from that. What else? Okay, This doesn't look like bug spray, and it technically isn't. But let me explain. It's what I use for bug spray because I get bit a lot. But it's actually gold Listerine. I'm giving you guys a tip. Gold Listerine actually isn't sticky, but it still repels the bugs. So you smell better than bug spray, and it works. So I always smelled like minty fresh breath this summer. That was my trick. Gold Listerine in a bottle. Okay, I'm just giving you that for who is ever going to be outside. Okay, a rubber ducky. Why do you, I don't know why I have this, but I do know why I have this because I'm Kayla. But, so I remember one summer I had this camper who would not stop crying. And I really like ducks. That's one thing that's really random about me because I really like everything. I have like a shiny rock syndrome or something. Like I'm just like, ooh, what's that? But I remember this duck, well, not this duck, I don't know where the duck was, but I had a duck that I'd gotten on my junior class trip, and I had a camper who would not stop crying, and so I came to her one night because she was super homesick, and I was like, hey, I have this rubber duck. It's a special rubber duck. It takes away your homesickness. And I was like, will you keep it safe for me? And so she kept the rubber duck safe the whole week, and she would not stop, she stopped crying, because she was like, you know what, I have Miss Kayla's rubber duck, and this rubber duck's going to help me. So I don't know what things in life you need to have significance to be like, you know what, because of this, I'm going to be okay. Because life throws a lot of stuff at you. Life gets confusing. Sorry, I can be a messy person. So it's all going to just stay here right now. But I've always kind of struggled, I don't know about you guys, being in high school. I was at a boarding academy. So I lived at my school. I breathed at my school. Everything was at my school. And by the time I was a senior, I was like ready to go. And my dean actually pulled me into her office one day and she was like, Kayla, do not do anything stupid to get kicked out. She was like, I need you to stay here. I need you to graduate. And it's not like I was like a crazy person trying to get kicked out, but she was like, your habits are changing and I need you to get back on the right track. And I'm thankful that she said that. But the thing is, the situations that arise, we can't help. So some days people are going to be biting at you, and maybe you need your gold Listerine. Oops, my water bottle just fell. But maybe you need to have that bug spray on, or maybe someone's going to be burning you with something, so you need to put your sunscreen on. Maybe you're going to go on a strenuous conversation, and someone's going to really drain you, so maybe you need to drink some extra water. Maybe you need to be more prepared that way. But it's all about being intentionally prepared for the path God has for you. And in high school, I knew that I did not always listen to what people said because I'm someone who doesn't really like authority that much. You get tired of people telling you what to do. It's like, okay, do this. Why? Like, I was always that kid. Like, my parents, like, hey, look, you need to go clean why do I need to clean my room, Mom? Oh, I had such an attitude. I'm sorry, Mom. But, those situations arise, and we just got to be ready. But we need to know why. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather be more prepared and be filling my bag with different things, because that's what's going to come out. That's going to be the overflow of all that I say and all that I do. And honestly, like, spending that time in the Word, spending that time with Christ, and whether it's just 5 minutes a day or 55 minutes a day, or just talking to God outside in nature, talking to God on your ride to school, but being able to start the day filling your heart with grace and love. So I hope that from this you can get to be intentionally prepared. But I don't always know what that looks like because I'm not always successful at it. Because I know I can stand on the stage and tell you guys that you need to be intentionally prepared, but I can tell you there was mornings I woke up and I went to class this week that I didn't even open my Bible. There was a day this week I know I didn't open my Bible for sure. And I come to the end of that day and I'm like, God, why was this such a terrible day? Like, why was it so crummy? And God asked me, well, why didn't you invite me to join you? And intentional preparation takes time. And it takes growth. And some days you'll be better at putting everything in. Some days you won't forget something. And other days you'll forget to brush your teeth one day. And then you're like, why does my breath stink? Oh, because I didn't brush my teeth. So you got to put the things in your way that you know that you're going to need to encounter. You got to be able to put the things in your path that you know you're going to need. So I want to share a story before I close. So this is my closing story. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this analogy. I do have one more thing in my backpack. But I don't know how many of you guys like coffee, but it's about coffee. So this is my coffee mug. It actually flew out of my golf cart this summer, and I had to go searching for it. But it says, you're holding a cup of coffee, and someone comes along and shoves you or shakes your arm, making you spill the coffee everywhere. Why did you spill the coffee? Well, it's because someone bumped into me, of course. No, that's the wrong answer. You spilled the coffee because you had coffee in your cup. If tea had been in it, you would have spilled the tea. Because whatever is inside the cup is what will come out. Therefore, when life comes along and shakes you, which will happen, whatever is inside of you will come out. It's easy to fake it until you get rattled. So we have to ask ourselves, what's in my cup? When life gets tough, what spills over? Is it joy, gratefulness, peace, and humility? Or is it anger, bitterness, harsh words, and actions? You choose. Today, let's work towards filling our cup with gratitude, forgiveness, words of affirmation to yourself and to others, kindness, gentleness, and love. So today, as you're getting ready to either, if you want to use the fill your cup analogy, or pack your backpack, or just get ready to go to church or ready to go to school, I don't know what it is that you have that you need to be ready for, but I just hope that you can learn to be intentionally prepared today for the path that God has for you. So with that, let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, God, I just want to thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for the opportunity that we have to gather here together as the Upper Room family, to gather here and have fun and to laugh and to just be a part of something bigger, something that you're doing, God. I just pray that today we choose to fill our packs with the things that you have provided for us. Because, God, you've provided these items that we can fill ourselves with, fill our hearts with, so that that can be the extent of the overflow. God, I just want to challenge these students. I challenge them to get into the Word today. I challenge them to get into the Word tomorrow morning, even when they're not feeling like it. God, I challenge them to open up your Word so they can see you, so they can see the things, the tools that you have set there for them to pack with them to go throughout their day, so that they can pack that extra hydration, they can pack that extra sun protection, they can pack that extra bug repellent or Listerine. God, I just pray that they are ready for the path that you have set before them, because, God, you're leading us. And, God, I pray that today and tomorrow that they invite you into their hearts and into their lives to be the one who guides them, God. Because, God, we can wander around in the dark for as long as we want, but, Lord, you are the light, and you bring us out of that darkness. So, God, this morning I pray that we are able to be intentionally prepared for the path you have set before us. And God, I just thank you for loving us so, so very much. In your precious and holy name I pray. Amen.